What's up, YouTube? Today I want to talk about movie villains. And now when we talk about movie villains, I'm a criminal profiler. Like, I have studied the forensic science. And so when we look at these people, I look for, do they have the warrior gene? Do these people have a manipulative, very cruel, sadistic, domineering kind of personality to them? Most of the times, yes. When you see these guys in movies, they make them incredibly sadistic. Like, most criminals, you'll see, some of them have antisocial personalities, some don't. And you'll see some people make just reckless choices. Then you start to get into the dissocial side, where you start to see predatory and people who truly are like serial killers, like psychopaths. Now, the movie villains exactly like that. Like the Lieutenant Dan guy in Forrest Gump. He did Reindeer Games, and he also did Payback. Now, I mean, Ransom. Now, he was a psychopath. Like, he was a true sociopath in Ransom. He was orchestrating the whole thing. He was very manipulative. He's like, I took a bullet for your son. I saved his life. You give me that money right now. And as a Lieutenant Dan guy, he's done a good job as a movie villain. There's a few others that have done very vile villains. And so, like in Reindeer Games, he's truly a psychopath, and he's truly brutal and sadistic, and he uses this guy. He's brutal, and he won't take no for an answer, and so he's a vicious person. And you see in Swim Fan, this woman lives to control the other guy, and she's very ritualistic, and she's getting into his life and trying to destroy him because her expectation of getting with him is not met. And so she's truly a psychopath. And you see this antisocial element in her personality when she starts to seem real nice in the beginning, but then she starts to become demanding. And she's like, oh, well, if you don't want to go with me, I'm going to mess your life up. I'm going to ruin you. And then he gets, sooner or later, goes back into her life and finds out that her ex almost got killed by her. And then she kills a cop and, trying to escape, and, they try and get her off the streets. And it's like a losing battle because she's just so elusive and brutal. And you see that. And you see a lot of these movies where you have people who live to control others, and they're vicious, domineering people in these movies. And like Wade, the Kevin Bacon character in Riverwild, would torment his victims. And so some of this behavior is based on criminals. The way they may act in court, the way they may have this deceitful kind of quality, but they amp it up. And they make them extra sadistic in movies, so that way you have a character that truly you love to hate. And that's what makes a lot of these characters in the movies much more brutal. And like Hannibal Lecter is based off of a couple serial killers. That's 2 people out of 6 billion people living now. And that's like 1 or 2 people ever out of way more than 6 billion over like 100 years. And that's, they take people that are extreme cases because you want to see shock and awe in a movie. And so in a movie, they will make an extreme situation. And that's where a lot of these movie villains, like Cyrus the Virus in Con Air, he was a full-blown sociopath, and he sets a bomb in his cell, and he's like, has all this capability. Normally, this is where it's kind of unrealistic, because in reality, he would never be able to put a bomb in his cell, and you wouldn't have somebody taking over an airline like that. But, this is where you see these people. They suddenly become like an animal, and all of a sudden they're hijacking a car, they demand stuff, and they become somebody's worst nightmare, or they end up running into them. And, do you think the military guy would have stood up against Cyrus in a fight? Probably not, because Cyrus had probably fought all his life. But you see these movie villains, or like in Last House on the Left, they are just social, they are brutal, they are extremely sadistic. And so, movies have changed the villains over the past 50 years. In the past, they were very domineering, and they were very sadistic, like they would torment people, and they would do stuff, they were pretty brutal. And then in the 70s, they seemed very brutal. And then all of a sudden, they put it in the MPAA, and so they kind of took it down, and now they're just vile. Like, they try and make vile people you love to hate. And they try and make you love to hate somebody so badly. And so you end up with a person that, you wonder what's going to happen to them at the end of the movie. And so, that's why I wanted to get into movie villains, and thanks for watching.